Firstly, belated Makar Sankranti to all of you. Generally, it is a common perception that in a long run, say 5 years and more, mutual funds provide a good return, and hence, it is being advised to stay invested for a long period. But this also comes with one disclaimer, which no one generally mentions, and that is one should select a good performing fund and review it on a regular basis. Here, I would like to add that if you are able to avoid these worst performing funds, then surely you will be able to generate a good returns from mutual funds. So in this video, we'll look at the worst performing funds from each category. Hence, please watch the video till the end. Hello everyone, I am Dhaval and welcome to my channel DIY Finance. If you are visiting my channel for the first time, then do subscribe to my channel. If you have already subscribed, then please press the like button and also share this video with your friends. So now let's start the video. I have selected the funds based on the following criteria. First one, AUM should be more than 500 crores. Second one, fund age should be at least 3 years. And the third one, fund is unable to beat its benchmark in majority of the period. So now let's look at our most favorite category of funds, that is small cap fund. As evident in the table, only one fund qualifies the criteria. Surely, I feel happy about it that only one fund qualifies, but here one should keep in mind that fund has not only to beat its benchmark, but also generate a higher return as compared to the benchmark in other funds. In the next slide, we will see the trailing returns for 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, and 1 year period. But before that, just keep in mind that the fund is having an expense ratio of 1% and its AUM is around 3000 crores. So now let's look at the trailing returns. Here I have compared the trailing returns with the benchmark returns. As evident here, ABSL, that is Aditya Birla Sun Life Small Cap Fund, is not able to beat its benchmark for 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years period, which is a clear indication that one should avoid this fund now. Here, you should keep one more thing in mind, that we generally go with small cap funds for boosting the overall performance of the portfolio. So, for a small cap fund, it is very important not only to beat its benchmark, but also beat it with a good margin, which here ABSL small cap fund is surely not able to do. Hence, one should immediately remove this fund from the portfolio. I have made a video on the best performing small cap funds. Link is attached in the I button and also in the description. Now let's look at the second category, that is midcap funds. As evident in the table, 10 funds qualify the criteria, for which ABSL midcap fund is having a very high expense ratio of 1.18%. Here I have taken expense ratio of direct plans only. For regular plans, this would be surely around 2%, which I feel is insanely high for such a worst performing fund. One more thing that can be observed, that this such worst performing fund are still having an AUM of around 13,000 crores as evident for the DSP small cap fund. Now let's check the poor performance of this midcap funds. As seen in the table, the first three funds, that is ABSL midcap fund, Baroda BNP Paribas midcap fund, and DSP midcap fund, are not able to beat its benchmark in all the selected period, whereas Mahindra Manulife Midcap Fund has not been able to beat its benchmark since its inception, that is January 2018. The results of remaining 6 funds are also not good and are not able to beat its benchmark for most of the period. Hence, if you are having any of these funds in your portfolio, you should exit them immediately. I have made a video on the best performing mid-cap funds. Link is attached in the I button and also in the description. You can check the same. Now let's look at the third category, that is large and mid-cap category. Here also the story is not much different. 8 funds qualify the criteria, from which UTI Core Equity Fund is having the highest expense ratio of 1.71%, followed by Nippon India Vision Fund at 1.55% and Franklin India Equity Advantage Fund at 1.39%, whereas ABSL Equity Advantage Fund and Sundaram Large and Mid Cap Fund are having an AUM of more than 5,000 crores. Now let's also check the returns generated by these poor performing funds. As evident, Franklin India Equity Advantage Fund and Nippon India Vision Fund have not been able to beat its benchmark in all the periods, whereas HSBC, which was earlier known as L&T Large and Midcap Fund, and LIC Large and Midcap Fund, has not been able to beat its benchmark since inception, whereas other funds are not able to beat its benchmark in most of the period. Hence, one should immediately exit these funds. Now let's look at the fourth category of funds, that is Flexi Cap funds. Here also, 9 funds qualify the criteria, with IDFC Flexi Cap Fund having the highest expense ratio of 1.21%. Here also, Kotak Flexi Cap Fund is having a high AUM of more than 37,000 crores, followed by ABSL Flexi Cap Fund and SBI Flexi Cap Fund with more than 16,000 crores of AUM. Sometimes I feel, why such underperforming funds have such a large AUM, and what are the reasons? Okay, we'll discuss this in the later part of the video. Now let's quickly look at the returns. From the table, it is evident that almost all the funds have not been able to beat its benchmark in the last 5 years and less. Here, I would specially mention for Tata Flexi Cap Fund that has underperformed since its inception from September 2018, and that too with a huge margin. I know the video has been stretched a little more, but before concluding this video, let's look at the last but important category of funds, that is ELSS funds. As evident, maximum number of funds, that is 11 funds, qualify the criteria. ELSS fund has a disadvantage as compared to other equity funds, that is, they come with a 3-year lock-in. Hence, it is not possible for an investor to exit this fund before 3 years, even though the fund is not performing well. Hence, one should be extra cautious in choosing funds from this category. Here also, quite a few funds have an expense ratio of more than 1% and quite a huge AUM. Axis Long-Term Equity Fund tops the chart with 30,000 crores, followed by ABSN at 13,000 crores and Nippon India at 12,000 crores. Now let's quickly look at the returns of these ELSS funds. As evident in the table, HSBC, formerly known as L&T, and UTI are not able to beat the benchmark in all the 10-year period, whereas other funds are not able to beat the benchmark in most of the period. Hence, if your 3-year lock-in period is over, then you should immediately exit these funds. So before concluding this video, just a small takeaway from the whole exercise. If you have observed, in almost all the categories, funds from ABSL Fund House qualify the criteria, and that too having a good AUM with above average expense ratio. There seems some fundamental problem with the fund house. What do you feel? Do share your views in the comment section. Second thing, some of these worst performing funds have insanely high expense ratio. I know the fund house would never reduce their expense ratio, though it is the moral responsibility of the fund house. But I know in business, morality is rarely been shown, and these fund houses have their own arguments of not reducing the expense ratios. Here, I feel SEBI should step in and take some steps to at least minimize the losses of common investors like you and me. One more thing which I wonder is how such long underperforming funds have such a huge AUM. One of the reasons I feel that these funds are being sold and promoted by mutual fund agents to customers who do not track the performance of the fund on a regular basis. What do you feel? Would love to read your views on this. Please share your views in the comment section. I have not covered the large cap funds as I feel that now the time has come. One should switch to large cap index funds only, as most of the large cap actively managed funds are underperforming and are not able to beat its benchmark. And I feel that this trend will continue in future also. I have earlier made video on best small cap funds and best mid cap funds for 2023. You can watch the detailed video. Links are attached in the description. To watch my earlier videos, click the attached cards. Thank you.